Good afternoon and welcome to your regular weekly current affairs program where we dissect topical issues, national issues that normally perturb or affects the heartbeat of Nigerians. Okay, it is 60 Minutes Nigeria with your host, Erosa Agbonlao. It's always a delight to have you on the program. And this week's edition, a brand new edition for that, promises to bring you the very best of information. We are looking at moral decadence and rule of law in Nigeria. Nigeria, our beloved Nigeria, known to be the giant of Africa, has experienced myriad of challenges. But I won't say Nigeria is crumbling. No, I won't say that. But Nigeria has faced myriad of problems, and some researchers believe that these problems are surmountable. But these problems can be traced to the homes, to the different families, parents, upbringing of parents, the educational sector, the decadence in the educational sector, and a lot of other negative tenets. Joining me to dissect this program is a renowned clergyman, a counselor, an analyst, and a man that knows the nitty-gritty of some of these problems and the ways that the authorities can surmount. I introduce Reverend Benson Ogirake. You are welcome to today's program.
Good afternoon, my beloved brother.
You are welcome.
The Lord is your strength.
Yes, the kind of smile that I see on your face portrays the fact that, yes, Nigeria can surmount the challenges bedeviling this giant.
By His grace.
Okay, so I said moral decadence and the rule of law. We'll start with the moral decadence. Now, I said it has to start from the homes. Very many parents are optimistic that their wards, their children, are in secondary school, are in tertiary institutions, and will surely graduate one day. So many parents are not aware that why they thought, let's take university system, why they thought their children are in the higher institution, their children in the hostels. Some don't know that their children are in a rented flats. And some of them have their girlfriend, female students, already behaving like a wife. Some parents are not aware. Some parents are not also aware that some of these youths are already living flamboyant lifestyles. Immediately, it's time to return home during the holiday. They change their attire, they change their looks, and they remain that teenager, that good boy, and that good girl that you thought they are. So, from our research, it has been exposed that some of these university undergraduates are involved in internet fraud and some other crimes. A case in point is what has happened in OAU, where the FCC arrested over 60 undergraduates. But after profiling, released so many of them. Even students protested that their colleagues be released. This background is very important for you to understand the topic today. Moral decadence. Some persons, even in local palace, will say, whose school don't help in local palace is as bad as that. Reverend Benson Ogirake,
thank you very much.
Yes, does this disturb you?
Actually, I want to say this, my beloved brother, and I want to also tell the public that is not only disturbing to an individual, but it has become permit me to use the word sickness to the society. The reason is because if you look at our nation today, our society, most times you want to regret of some certain things. But I want to first of all analyze some things for us to be able to have a greater picture of what we are looking at.
Yes.
Because when we talk about moral decadence, first of all, we start with moral. Then before we come to the rule of law, because they are almost different aspects.
Yeah, we'll look at that later.
Then when we are looking at the moral aspect of any human being, we are looking at the lifestyle. We are looking at their character. We are looking at what they are made of, what they are made up of. And you discover that it starts from the home. Because the Bible says, train up a child. Use the word child. Train up a child in the way he should go, so that as he grows up, he will not depart from it. Why did the Bible use that? Why did he start from there? When he said, train up a child, he knows that the foundation of everyone starts from the home. He knows that once a child is born, so at that time, it's like the child is empty. Then whatever you are putting into that child, then he starts making or forming the character of that child.
Yeah, let me quickly interject. That's what a philosopher, Plato, talked about. He calls it in philosophy the plate.
Yes.
Yes, like a plate mind.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So you discover that it starts from the home. So that is why as a child starts growing up by the upbringing of the parents, then he gets to a stage, then he now begins to relate with his or her friends or her peers. That is another way again that the character of such a person can be influenced. Then that is why the Bible says, tell me your friend and I will tell you whom you are. Then as you are also growing from there, you move to the third stage, which have to do with what the Bible says, that when you move with the wise, you become wise. That the company of the fools, he also creates a kind of, permit me to use this word, foolishness. Okay. So you now discover that, first of all, as different families are bringing up their children, and all these children from different homes are coming to one society, that is where the government comes in. Why? The government is the body that actually represents the higher authority that govern and monitors the characters and the attitude of the entire society. Because they are the one that have the responsibility of enacting a law that will be able to coordinate the attitude of everybody in order to be able to live a good atmosphere in the society. They are the one that have the responsibility to be able to monitor. They are the one that have the responsibility to be able to punish the offenders. So you find out that as far as morals is concerned, is not a responsibility of the parents alone. Though it starts from the parents, but it graduates to the parents, it graduates to the kind of people, the friends you make. The one the government is now like the apex authority who's supposed to be able to also guide. I bring in the government here before we begin to look at other aspects that have to do with religion. But I want to say this, that when we are looking at the fall of the morals of today, permit me to focus on Nigeria.
Yes, well, it's Nigeria I'm talking about. 60 minutes Nigeria.
Yes.
But Pastor, we'll take a quick break now to allow us to introduce our second guest on the program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. Don't go away. Okay, it's always a delight to have you back on the program. It is 60 Minutes Nigeria. We are looking at a very, very crucial topic today that has to do with the morals and, of course, our youths, adults, and you know, their behavior, the societal demands. We're looking at moral decadence, and we'll also be looking at the rule of law, because it is believed that these two factors contribute a lot to the development of any nation. It is 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Erosa Agmola. Just joining us is Apostle Dr. Royal Aye Mary. He is also a leader of congregations and a leader of youths, and of course, an analyst of repute. Nice to have you, Dr. Aye Mary.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Before Aye Mary joined us, Reverend Benson Ogeraki was just emphasizing the effects of moral decadence on our society, how it affects the parents and the role of government. He said it's not only about parents, it's not only about the home, that the government also have a role. And he talked about peer group pressure, how it affects the upbringing of youths, how some youths are swayed and influenced to doing or engaging in vices, which in the long run affects the society. We just allow Reverend Benson to conclude his opening remarks.
Okay, like as I was saying just now, I was talking about in Nigeria here. You could see that is the moral decadence in this country has been so exposed, or is seen in such a way that almost everybody give up their hope. But I want to say that by the grace of God, as we are discussing it today, there are some other ways that I know that we can also be able to build up our own morals back again.
Thank you.
Because there is no hope, there is solution.
Okay, Dr. Aye Mary, your opening remarks. Okay.
Thank you. First of all, let me apologize for coming late.
Okay.
It's not in my nature. I met some hold up on the road.
Okay.
Moral decadence in Nigeria today. It's not just a Nigeria problem. It's a global
But I'm not
issue.
going to focus on Nigeria.
All right. Because the way it is a lowering of standards, cutting of corners. And if you look at Nigeria today as a nation, if you tend to follow the norms,
Okay.
they see you as somebody who does not know what's up. They say as somebody who is like, are you sure you know what is happening in this country? You don't want to make it.
Okay.
You don't want to rise, because people think that until you cut corner, until you lower standards, you can't get there. But the truth is, as long as people exist, moral values, ethical values, and societal norms are things that we must imbibe on, not because of an individual alone, but because of the society. Because if moral values drop, we are all in danger. Not just today, tomorrow, and the future is the danger. So it is something that we need to put our heads together and tackle it, starting from the home. Because the first school of a child is not the academic ground, it's the home. Parents, how they live in the presence of their children, how father and mother relate with themselves in the presence of the children, how they dress, how they relate with other persons, because the society at large is made up of families. What we are seeing today is the failure of the family, the failure of the homes. That's what we are seeing in Nigeria today. I think if we must get it right, we must go to the foundation.
Okay.
Parents must begin to get it right.
Okay. But I will not just allow you to stop there. Now, you have established your submission based on the foundation, the home. Now,
Yes, sir.
look at the issue of Yahoo. Most of the youths are involved. Yahoo, some person may say, what's the meaning? Okay, internet fraud. Now, a situation where some persons have worked for over 20 years. They don't even have a land. They don't have a car. But you see a youngster, an undergraduate, driving is it G-Wagon they call it? Driving a G-Wagon, driving a Lexus.
All right.
Driving luxury cars. And you see the way they drive against traffic, they're on top speed, They don't obey the laws of the land. If you are a good driver, you can discover them with your rear glass or side mirror. You quickly move away. Otherwise, they will smash your car. This could be attributed to moral decadence. But some parents are not even aware that they are so-called teenagers, their children, are living flamboyant lifestyles. That's the way I started the program. Some are living rented flats. Some have they have girlfriend that as if the girlfriend is their wife, cooking, doing things for them at home, you know. But maybe during the holiday, they return as saints. They change their costume and all of that. Some don't even change. The parents don't have control over them. What do you have to say about that before we get the thought of Reverend Benson?
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, first and foremost, we must understand that success in life is not attributed to the amount of money you accumulate.
Okay.
Success in life is all about living for your dream, living for a vision, establishing a mark. It's not about gathering money. As a matter of fact, if you have all the money in the world and you don't have children who can continue from there, you wasted your time, you wasted your effort, because what you labored for, all right, other persons will just come and jump into what you have labored for when you exit. Now, somebody working and maybe 10 years, 20 years, and say nothing to show for it. It all depends on where the person works. Because I think in this country, government have plans for civil servants. Okay. All right? Even there are some private establishments that also have plans for their people. But I think another thing we have to look at is that if somebody knows he earns 100,000 at the end of the month, he should be able to plan with it. Like I'm a pastor. I'm a businessman too. I tell my congregation, I tell them that any house rent you struggle to pay when it expires, you are not due for it. Because when it's time to pay, you are only haters scatter. It shows that that house rent is above you. Go and get somewhere that you can comfortably pay and plan ahead. Because what we see today is that people want to live above their income. Because Nigerians, we like a life of impression. We want to impress people. We want people to know that we are living. We want people to know that we are around. So it doesn't matter how I get the money. Let me just make people notice my presence. Life is not about that. It is the duty of parents to educate their children. For example, I have my kids. The place they go to school is not too far from my house. But at least from my house to the place is about 20 minutes walk. I tell them, trek to school. Even if I have a car, I'll not take you to school. You may not suffer what I suffer, but you must understand life. You must know what life is all about. I don't want a situation whereby they ask my children in school, where do we get chicken for, say, from refrigerator? They must know life. So parents should begin to train their children. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those who canvas that you can give your children a surprise visit when they are in school. Don't let them know you are coming. All right? It still boils down to the family. Because we cannot shy it away. We cannot push it to school or push it to government. It's not everything we push to government. Moral decadence. It is the failure of the home. That's my submission, sir. Okay. Now, I'm happy with what is on air now. The director just allowed us to see that. Because I did a research, and Professor Ludare did a write-up that was very impressive. And he talked about what is really happening. Some of the youths don't even believe in the rigors, the academic rigors again. Some will say in local palace, who school help. But we must commend the governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, who introduced a policy of absorbing into the public service first-class graduates, so long as they are from Edo State, wherever in any university, as long as they are from Edo State, they have a first-class automatic employment. And I think that's the first governor to have done that. Beautiful. So that people will understand the importance of education. Yes. You know. So I'm happy we saw that footage for us to understand that education is still very important. I'm happy you emphasize it. But this issue of those even in universities, in higher institutions, living flamboyant lives, living, some of them already involved in internet fraud and all of that. Reverend Benson, this is disturbing.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Actually, when my brother was saying something just now that it has a lot to do with the
home.
parents, the home. I want to add to it so that it will not look as if we are arguing.
Okay.
No. I want to say that there's a level that the parents can actually control the children.
Okay.
But when it comes to the issue of an adult, you know, if a child is already 18 years and above, it's already an adult.
Yeah.
There are some things that their parents cannot do. For instance, when it comes to the issue of internet fraud, you discover that how much can the parents actually do? The highest they can do is to shout. The highest they can do is to try to say, okay, let me beat. But how strong are you to beat a youth when you are already aging?
Yes.
So you now discover that it becomes the responsibility of the government to actually control and bring everybody that are involved to know that what they are doing is evil and is not good. But in a place and in a situation and in a society where you discover that those who supposed to monitor law, who supposed to enforce law, who supposed to make sure that the offender is punished, that they themselves are not living up to expectation. What is the moral right for somebody that have been able to do some certain things which all of us know, to be able to get into power? Where is the moral right to control somebody or to discipline somebody that is into internet fraud? I'm not supporting them.
Okay.
Then you discover that if we must correct this moral decadence in the society, everybody have to be involved.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Both the home, especially the government. Why am I saying the government? Is because the power, the authority to actually control every evil that are going today, 80% of the authority lies in the government. Because the highest we can do is maybe to report. Now, once you report, then the government have the responsibility of making an arrest. The government have the responsibility of prosecuting, then and also determine the punishment that is applicable to the offender or whatever offense the person commit. That is why if we go like this, the way that we are going now, in fact, it will only take the mercy of God for Nigeria to survive it. But the time and the season has come for everybody to rise up to actually face this evil, to crush it. Because if you don't look at things, for instance, somebody is entering into a public office, and you discover that people are saying it's not right, and they have been able to bring out some evidences to show that this person is not qualified. All that we can hear is to say, you know, you're supposed to bring up this issue before the election. How can you justify that? Then the next thing you are talking about, somebody that has stolen public office, funds, then he's exposed. And at the end, all that will be said that is if you can cross to a particular party, then you are forgiven. And the person actually take a step like that and is forgiven. So what is the moral right to now discover that such a person who is supposed to prosecute an offender, what is the moral right to be able to do that? Okay,
thank you, Reverend. We'll come back to you, but we'll just take a brief break and to inform our viewer that you can be part of this program. The telephone lines will be open and you can call in and make your contribution. We're looking at moral decadence and the rule of law. We've not really trashed the rule of law, yes. But Reverend has just mentioned that we'll talk about it after this break because both are needed to make a sane society. But that will be after this break. Okay, nice to have you on the program. After the break, it's always a delight that you are there, savoring, enjoying your time with us on the program 60 Minutes Nigeria. We have in the studio Reverend Benson Ogeraki, We also have in the studio Apostle Dr. Royal Ayemere. Gentlemen, thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and you can be a part of the program by via telephone. You can phone in and make your contribution to the discussion. And of course, the authorities will heed your call, because everything done here is geared toward having a developed society, moral decadence, and the rule of law. Talking about the rule of law is supposed to be sacrosanct. Rule of law is supposed to ensure a better society. But so many persons do not believe in the rule of law. Even those in authorities, some of them flout the rules. Some leaders will say, not that we don't have the laws. We have the laws, but it is the enforcement of the law. That is another angle to the discussion. The laws are there, and we're enforcing them. Do we have those who are above the law? In local palace again, they say big men or big man. Now, in very sane societies, you don't have that. Nobody's above the law. Even if you have immunity, they just wait for you to leave office and you'll be prosecuted. Now, when you know the gravity of your offense and the fact that the institutions are straightened, they do not respect your face, they do not respect you as an individual, they don't even recognize you as an individual. Okay, we have our first caller on the line. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, please, your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Donatus Wanne. I'm calling from Medical Crossroads.
Thank you. Make your contribution.
You see, what people are discussing, as I say, is beyond nepotism. All of us have failed. Government, parents, religious homes. Somebody was blaming government and parents. He's not blaming the religious homes. Are you hearing me?
We are with you. Go on.
Yeah. The religious homes that pray for these boys that are doing Yahoo. If a boy of 20 years come to your church with a Lexus Jeep or G-Wagon that costs between 15 million, and you bless that Jeep for that boy. If you have good moral, you should have asked that boy, my guy, where have you been working? Where do you work? How many years have you worked to make this money? And if you are a good church goer or a pastor, a religious man, you should not welcome that kind of person, that kind of boy, to your church or your business center. You see, it is hardly time we talk of moral value and to know how people make money before we associate with them. In the years past, when we are growing up in the village, people don't normally go to church, but they fear God and respect man. I remember when I was in the village, this old woman that is frying akara. After frying the akara, want to go to farm. She will leave the akara outside. People will buy and collect money. People will buy and put money and collect the right food. This is applicable if you have ripe banana from your farm. You shed it outside and go to farm. People will buy and exchange by themselves. But today, what do we see? Some parents even have union for Yahoo boys. Some pastors do have a special time for Dada boys to do Thanksgiving in their church. Some pastors do have time for Yahoo boys to come and do Thanksgiving. I went to a party somewhere at the airport road, off airport road, near Oba area place. Somebody was doing, there was a specially time left for Yahoo boys to come and do spraying of money. And if you look at this range, you are below 20 years. People were clapping. I asked myself, what is happening? Those of us that were born in the village, it don't bring something, don't bring something home that you cannot buy to your parents to home. Your parents will ask you to return it. My parents would tell me to return this thing that it does not belong enough to me that I should return it. If I know wherever I bring this in, that I will return it back. But today we welcome everything. Are we talking of the way our ladies, our women are dressing? Married woman, if you see married woman on the street of the city, but not in this particular, everywhere in the country, you will not know that this woman is married. What we call underwear, those of us that was born in the village, what our mothers do tie, we are inside and do tie wrapper on top of it is what our women, married women, wear to school, to market. I was forced to quarrel with a lady at New Benin by her permission. This woman, this lady was totally naked. I don't know what great me I was able to encourage someone courage and go to her say, woman, why do you dress like this? In fact, there's nothing we can do any longer because both the government, both the religious homes, both the parents, all of us have failed to do what we're supposed to do as a human being. I don't know what is happening.
Okay.
Why are we behaving like this? Is it because of money or what? That's why I'm tired and sick of what is happening in society.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, can you just tell us your name again? Okay, he has just... Okay. He has, I think he said Eminike. Am I right? Okay. Thank you very much. Wonderful contribution. I'm happy that our analysts today, our guests, they are also clergymen, so they will react to it. But let's get this other caller. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please, your name? Where are you calling from? Reduce the volume of your set. Okay, go on.
My name is Ekuwenu Sahari.
Okay. From where?
I am calling from Obioki.
Thank you. Go on.
Yeah, you see this moral decadence in our society started from the home.
Okay.
We have a lot of persons within our environment here whose parents who could not pay school fees for their children's enrollment WAEC. They will go and borrow money to buy computer and go and enroll their son in a place where they do Yahoo in the name of let my son bring money in. Then I also have parents who also will take their daughters and compare with other children and lure them to slavery, send slavery, send them abroad, bring in money. Then these children will go to society to exhibit that character. Then what our man was just saying just now, that government has a lot of blame. Government does not have a lot of blame. There is no president in this nation who is free. There is no president all over the world that is free, that is perfect. But the law is there to regulate everybody. Government has no say in that area. There is a law that regulates these activities. It is we parents, I have children. If you see the way we praise Yahoo, we compare ourselves with others. We will give them money to buy computer. Our son will go outside and bring that in. We will not even bother to ask. Our son will buy us cheap. They will build house. We will pray for them. Our children will go to church and make donation to the pastor and exchange pastor's vehicle and workshop for him. We don't condemn it. This is where we are getting to. Not until we go back to the home again to begin to raise righteous generation. And this generation will go to society, they will become president, they will become governor, they will become local government chairman, they will become a leader in the ambitious way. Then they will exhibit what they have been taught in the home. That is my take.
Thank you very much. Your name again?
Ekuwenu Sahari.
Iguwenu Sahari. Thank you very much, all the way from Oyogi. Thank you very much. Wonderful contribution. Thank you.
Please, can I say something?
Please, you have to quickly react before we get more callers.
Yes, because like what they are saying now.
Yes.
Let me use an establishment.
Okay.
To express what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
For instance, this is a great establishment.
Okay.
That is ITV. When you discover that all the staff are living as if there is no leader, everybody are just doing their own things. there is no staff or co-staff or colleague who can be able to correct another staff. But the authority to bring every staff that are not behaving well is in the hand of the management. And when the management now put those things, the law, and decide to apply it, you discover that everybody begin to try to behave themselves. So the same way the society is. At this time, I thank God for the contribution they have made so far.
Yes.
So when you discover that parents are already aiding evil in their children, so who then will correct each other? It's the government. So the reason I'm talking about government is not as if that everybody have not failed in their own duty. I can also remove pastors. I cannot be defending myself here now because a lot of people may have not come to our ministry. Okay. But at least when you come to upper and you ask for staff, they will tell you the kind of life that we live, because we don't live because of money, no. Okay. But I can't be defending myself now because I'm a part of the body of Christ, which I also know that a lot of things have gone wrong when it comes to Christianity. But at the same time, I still insist that government have a role to play, a major role to play. The reason is because they are the one that have the authority to bring everybody back to state.
Thank you. Before we allow Dr. Ayumele, let's get this caller. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, please just reduce the volume of yourself, then introduce yourself and where you are calling from, your contribution.
Okay, my name is Austin.
Okay, Austin, you are calling from where?
I'm calling from Oyoge.
Okay, Oyoge. Okay, go on.
All right. I want to state the fact is that the topic we are discussing is a very important topic.
Thank you.
In the sense that it is a very important issue that we need to look into. It has deteriorated to the level where the system is polluted. Everywhere is polluted. Everybody should be taking responsibility over this issue. Both those clergymen, both the society, but the government is playing a major role. If you understand, I say this because of the system that they have built, the way they are running the system of the government. It has contributed to the lifestyle and mindset of our people. It's all about the mindset. So the government, there is no job anywhere. There is no job anywhere. Everything is getting bad and bad and bad. And so the government needs to do something, irrespective of the religious leaders who are also contributing, the parents who are contributing. But it's the system of the government that governs the country, that controls everything. It's the system of the government that controls everything. The system of the government controls everything. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Ayumele. Now, even clergymen were indicted by some of our callers.
All right.
You want to react to it?
Yes.
Are religious leaders also aiding all these Yahoo boys and people who are becoming miscreants in our society all because of money?
When I hear statements like that, that ministers of the gospel are aiding internet fraudsters and the rest of that, for me, it beats my imagination. Because as a minister of the gospel, we are to correct, we preach against what is wrong. We are to stand for what God stands for. Love what he loves and hate what he hates. I don't think, I stand to be corrected, I don't think there is any genuine minister of the gospel who will support such an adventure. I stand to be corrected. Anybody who says he's a pastor and he supports such a thing, he's not a pastor in the first place. He has missed his calling.
That's true.
So that's why I will not support that motion that some pastors, because the Bible is our guide when it comes to religious affairs as Christians. And there are a lot of scriptures that speak against such acts. And every genuine pastor who upholds the Bible as his own tenet of faith must stand against such. And that is that. Then if you talk about society at large, because it still boils down to the home, like I said. Roman Catholic will tell you, give me a child. Let that child stay with them from maybe year 1 to 9 years. Say the child will remain a Catholic for life. Why do they say that? Because that at that stage where that child is a child,
the formative years,
that is it. That is it. It's not about taking a rod or cane and flogging your child. No, there are values you inculcate to a child that as he grows, even the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. It is, I still put it down, leave government out of it, because it is what the home brings out that goes to the society. It is what the home raises that goes to the church. So I even thank God that the church is even, if not for the church, maybe the state that we are in would have been worse than this. So I wouldn't stand with those who are blaming the church. Okay. No, I wouldn't stand with that.
Okay, thank you. Now, the issue of rule of law must come in. And I think that's what Pastor Benson is emphasizing when he keeps talking about government. Now, some government officials, even in period of austerity, period of inflationary trend, period that some people cannot even get food to eat, you know, the prices of food items not within the reach of the poor. Some call it now the poorest of the poorest. Now you see some government officials living flamboyant life. They drive against traffic with sirens, some with convoy. Now each of those vehicles will be, it must use fuel. Who pays for the fuel? Taxpayers' money. So government has a role in some aspect of trying to teach the people that, oh, this is the way to go. Extravagant life must stop. Want to see, no, at a time, Beetle. Some person were saying government officials should drive in Beetle, should drive in cars that are not expensive. So people understand that you don't need to drive in expensive cars. I think that's an aspect of government. But Apostle Doctor has also made it clear. The home, the formative years, the way you bring up your child, if you don't correct them, spare the cane and spoil the child. Some schools now don't allow flogging. When we were in school, they used to flog us. There's a man that we gave him a nickname, touch your toes. Okay, now let's get this other caller. Good afternoon. Reduce the volume of your TV set. Reduce the volume. No, we can't take this. Okay. Please, whenever you phone in, reduce the volume of your TV set so that it will not be echoing. So, students used to be flogged, so that they are flogged to know that what they've done is wrong, so that they will not do it again. Now you grow like that. Some of us maybe would have been deviants, but because our teachers, kudos to our teacher, thumbs up. You know, we commend our teachers who taught us, say, no, don't leave school during school hours. Stay within the school. Read your book. Go to the library. You know, that really helped some of us, and we became scholars. Okay, now, please introduce yourself, your name, where you are calling from.
Good afternoon, this is Reverend Emmanuel.
Good afternoon, Reverend Emmanuel. You are calling from where?
I'm calling from Ogida Barak.
Okay, Reverend Emmanuel from Ogida Barak, make your comments.
All right. The topic, moral decadence and the rule of law. You see, if you look back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we must have discussed extensively on this topic like this. Over the years, the moral decadence got worse from what it has been. That today, it is now at the highest level. Now, if you project from where we are to the next 10 years, it is likely to get even more worse. Now, I want to agree with those who have spoken, the ministers of God in the studio.
Thank you.
It is what the family gives to the society. It is what the family brings to the church that the church tries to repair through the word of God. No pastor who is called of God will encourage 419, will encourage prostitution. Of course, some of these people that say this, say, I'm not going to join the church to see what we do there. corrected openly. That dress, not too well, openly in order to correct other people. So people don't see what we do in most cases, but the little, here and there when people make mistakes, they say the whole truth. It can be true.
Okay.
I agree with the pastor there that it is those who have the power, God have entrusted with the power to control the society, which we call the government, that is more to be blamed. The pastor can't flog anybody. The pastor cannot put anybody in prison. You only use the word of God to rebuke and to correct, and they go back home. When they got people who are in police, who are in the government, who are in other places of authority, you openly disregard to the same law they have to protect. What do you expect the pastor to do? When the school cannot correct again, you flog anybody in the school, the parents will come and beat you up. You see people who are in the government doing anyhow, constantly to the face of the people. Who are those in the government today? Most of them are cultists, and they are well known. Who are those who have embezzled the money of the country? They are people who are well known than the government. So I used to do it within the context of the end time. We can only do what we can do. But people have a responsibility to their life because
that is it.
The word of God is open. You either choose to obey or choose not to obey.
That's right.
God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a wonderful contribution. And I must also make this statement that my guests, they've emphasized the role of parents, the role of home to the development of the child. The child eventually grow and become a leader.
That's right.
Then my other guests have also emphasized the role of the authorities.
Yeah.
So both of them are right. We need collective effort to tackle moral decadence in the society. Then the issue of the rule of law. People don't obey the laws. Dr. Yemere, people don't obey the laws. Even some persons in government don't obey the law.
Yes.
Now, for being a police officer, or you are, maybe there's a patrol, except there's an emergency, you're not supposed to drive against traffic.
That's right.
It doesn't because you are a law enforcer, then you now disobey the law you are to enforce. That's, rule of law does not accommodate big man that is known in what we call big man in local palace. No, everybody subject to laws in any society. So why are people disobeying the laws? Let's quickly just conclude.
All right. That's why I will agree and align with what my very senior pastor have said. Those who make the laws should live by example. They should live by example, because where we are today, we live in a situation whereby government officials, they feel the law is for citizens, not for them. Somebody becomes a commissioner, becomes a minister, in the space of 2 years, has become a big man. The community, they celebrate him. They gather when he's coming home. They receive him at the airport. I think there's a constitution in this land that says if you become anything or a government official, declare your assets. How many of them do declare it? We have a governor, I think Buhari, who was the president, he declared his asset. Osinbajo declared his own. The ones we have today, do they declare it? Why are they not declaring it? Because there's ulterior motive. The rule of law is for everybody.
Thank you very much. The director has just told me, time is not afraid, but you can see that I'm enjoying the program as the anchor. I'm enjoying the program. I believe you're enjoying the program. And you see those who called, we are still having callers, but time will not allow us. Just concluding one word. Just conclusion, one word, please.
So what I want to say is that please let everybody, especially those that have the authority, to actually bring everybody back to a place, a level of having moral values, that we insist or that we enforce the law. All of them have to rise up to their responsibility.
Thank you very much. Dr. Yemere, thank you very much for your time. Wonderful contribution.
Thank you.
Reverend Benson Ogerake, thank you very much. Our VR there, thanks for being a part. On behalf of the production team, the director has been a wonderful director on the program today. Do have a wonderful weekend ahead. Bye-bye.